Well, hello again. Something a bit different today. I finally managed to get the tank off of the Cadwell. This is the AJS Cadwell fuel injection version, and I thought I started doing this yesterday, but I thought it might be worth some sort of a record because it was actually quite complicated, mostly due to lack of access to things you need to get off. But basically you need to disconnect 4 things. We'll just show you what's involved. So that's the bottom of the tank. So this is the low fuel level sender. That's the sender there. That's the connector for that. This is for the evap, and it's got this weird, I don't know if you can see it, it's got this weird connector thing going on. So that is the, so this is the evap. So this lug here is the evap hose. There's another lug there. That is the drain hose for the filler cap. The filler cap has a depression around the outside of it. If rainwater gets in, it will run down. It's a metal tube, goes all the way through the tank. It will come out there, and it will come out onto another hose that goes down just beyond the swinging arm. So so that's 1, so that's 2, that's 3 things you've got to disconnect, and of course the fuel pump. Now I was using these pliers. Actually, let's go and have a look at the thing itself. So I don't know if you can see that. That's it there. So this is the fuel injector. This is supposed to be a quick release connector, only it's not. So I'm using these pliers, and all I've managed to do is to destroy the little button things that you're supposed to press that release it. They're totally mullered now, so that's not coming off. That's on there for good now. So I thought, well, I'll stop before I break anything. Well, I have broken it. I've destroyed those buttons, and this, you get all this going on as well. It's all wobbly plastic and there's no strength to it at all, so it's lots of potential for breakages. So I thought, well, I'll just take the hose off. It's the simplest thing to do. So that's what I did. So well, I couldn't just take the hose off, so I had to cut it. I cut it with wire cut, not these ones, but wire cutters like that, and just keep nibbling it until it comes off, because you can't get under there. There's not enough room to do things. That's the clip that came off. Be able to get on one end and unroll, but again, you've got to take the tank off before you can get this off properly. Anyway, so that originally went on there like that kind of thing. I've got spare hose. I'll just change this whole length of hose and I'll put new clamps on. Simple as that. So that's the 4 basic things. So that's your outlet. This of course is this is the fuel pump. This is the fuel filter, and there's a bracket for it, which is that there with 2 prongs. Before you try taking the tank off, you must pull the filter off of these prongs. If you don't, as you're lifting the back of the tank up and pulling it, you're pulling this like that, which won't do the hoses any good at all. There are quick release connectors there and there, which I'm not going to disturb. I wanted to look at the hoses because this, believe it or not, this bike is now 6 years old. I mean, I reckon every 4 years the hoses should really be replaced, because anyway, so I just want to see what state they're in. But I can't, they're not soft, they're not going hard, they're not showing any signs of cracks. They might do another, they might last a little bit longer. I'll say I'll replace that bit because I've cut it. So when you take the tank off, you undo the bolts at the back. The there's these U-shaped channels which fit over these I don't know if you can see them, these rubber buffers here. So you've got to pull, so you release the back and then you've got to pull the tank backwards, find that, unplug that, as I say, disconnect that, and in future I'm just going to have a hose clamp and just take the hose off if I want to take it off without trying to undo the quick release connector, which doesn't. That's the evap line. You need to get this hose off here. I had to use big pliers, get hold of the hose and keep wiggling it, twisting it and twisting it and pulling it and twisting it and pulling it until it comes off. Until it comes off, excuse me. But again, the problem is lack of access. The tank is up here with a block of wood under it, and it's all dark underneath, and you can't see what you're doing, and there's no access, and you can't get tools in there, you can't get your hands in there, so you're in there with pliers trying to get these hoses off, and it's just a nightmare. So it's simplest just to take it off of here. So those are basically the 4 connections. So it's the fuel hose, the evap tube, the drain tube, which is a continuous, you can pull it up from the bottom perhaps and leave it attached to the tank, but I just thought I'd better pull it off. This, which is the low level fuel light sender, and the plug for that. The plug for this is the pump. The plug for the pump is there. And the biggest problem is once you've freed all this stuff off. So again, as I say, this bracket, you've pulled the filter off the bracket, that's fine. Then there's this thing, and that's the connector for the pump, and it normally sits like that sort of position. The trouble is when you're trying to pull the tank backwards, this is doing this, and it's pulling on that, which is, I don't know if you can see, it's there, it comes out of the loom there. There's not enough slack. So then you've got the tank propped up on blocks of wood, and you've got a torch, and you want to shove a very thin screwdriver up underneath. I don't know if you can see it, there's a locking tab there. So shove a small thin screwdriver under that locking tab to push it off, and then it has to stay there while you get hold of this and wiggle it and pull it out. Coincidentally, when I was doing this, this, which is the, you can see it there, it's the cylinder head temperature sensor. This was all loose and flapping about, and while I was doing it, and this just popped out, came disconnected because it wasn't clipped in properly, as it turns out. I think it is now. And then I put a little tie wrap around it just to stop it flapping about, because that's not very nice. So the 4 connections on here are, so this is the fuel hose to the injector. This is the, incidentally, this was off. It was flapping about like that. I don't know if I broke it off trying to pull it off, but anyway, the evap tube goes on. The evap tube goes on there. I'll put it back in the one. See if I can. There's actually a bracket for it here. I didn't realise. Right, so that stops that flapping about. I've got a tie wrap around there as well. I put on, I think. Anyway, so evap tube goes on there. This is the drain tube for the filler cap, and it goes. There is there. There is there, and it goes all the way down, and it comes out in front of the swing arm somewhere. And this is the low fuel light sender. But as I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an extension for that. It's got to be at least another 3 or 4 inches long, which will give you a chance to actually plug it in or disconnect it even when you want to take it off. What I did in the end is I put a cloth over here, or an old towel or something like that. And you can get the tank off. That has to come off But you can get the tank off and turn it over sideways so the front of it is facing that way. And then you can start taking all this stuff off. As I say, this needed big pliers and a lot of twisting and pulling to get it off. That had to be cut. As I say, it's going to be, I'm just going to put it back with a clamp. That's not difficult to take off. That was a complete sod to take off. As I say, which is why I want to make an extension for it. But this is where we are at the moment. So we've got that off. So I'm going to take all these out because, have we done everything in here? We also wanted to show. Oh yeah. So I found this. I found what this is. This is the indicator flasher, turn signal flasher. People said, oh, it's underneath the tank somewhere, and so it is, and it's in there. So if you want to know where that is, that's where it is. Yeah, I've got LEDs on this bike, so I have to have ballast resistors like that. Otherwise, so it, you know, the flashing speed is correct. I could change it for an LED one, but now I know where it is. I could do that later. Right now, I'm trying to do this. So the other reason I want to take the tank off is because I want to change it. So, well, this has become a unboxing video. So I bought this last year sometime. So in here, I've got a nice. This is the red. This is the burgundy red fuel tank. If I can get him out. So yeah. So we'll have that on. So I want to swap everything from the black tank to this one. So I've also got a tail unit for it as well, of course, a matching. So there's a matching red tail unit you go on the back of the seat. In here somewhere as well there should be, or there was, somewhere I should have a new gasket for the pump. I'll see if I'm not sure if it's in this box or if I must have put it somewhere else. Anyway, we'll come back to this in a minute. Alright, so that's out of its box. Oh yes, and the next question was, let's go and find it. Will this fit? It should. This is the filler cap. The key is captive until it's locked. So it goes in that way around, and then you like that. Then you push it, and the key flips around, and yes, it does. There you go. So that's simple. That's one bit swapped over. I'm now going to see if I can find that pump gasket. Yeah, all right. Found the pump gasket. Okay. Quite a sophisticated looking thing. Right. Found some hose. So the next thing is so the next thing is, see if we can get all this off. I'm curious which way up the gasket goes, but so M6 with a washer. And the last one, and see what the modus operandi is then. Oh, it's loose. It's loose. Coming loose. Okay. Okay. So, oops. There we go. And there's a filter in the bottom which I'm trying to. Right, there you go. So that's what it looks like. This is the gauze filter, and there's the gasket. So we're gonna have to. I thought it best to replace that. Yeah, it's all doesn't work. There you go. Try and put on something clean. Right. Yeah, it's starting to. Right. There's spigots which tell you which way up it goes. Which matches with holes in there. So that's how that goes. All right. Next. Doesn't seem to be any kind of sealant on there. I'm wondering whether I should put some on, just a wee smear or something. I've got a bit of blue Hylamar somewhere. There is still a bit of petrol in here actually. I can't get it all out. Even I'll turn it upside down over the jerry can. I mean, I drained it first. What I did, I siphoned it out as much as I could. And then the rest I sort of turned it upside down and poured it into a funnel kind of thing. But yeah, there's still a bit in there, and it's starting to leak out here. Right. Oh yeah. So let's see if we can. Yeah, so we can get this off. This is what you got to do. You see, you've got to get hold of it and. Now, that's the left hand side, that's the drain, that's the right hand side, that's the evap. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to leave that on there for a minute to remind me, because I can see daylight through there, so that's the filler cap. Just to remind me which side it goes. Right, so we can get this out. This is the fuel level sender. I don't have a gasket for this because I have no idea how it's sealed. Captive. Oh, that's right. Captive bolts, which is a bit disconcerting. Ta-da! All right. Now what happens? Aha. Goodness. Ta-da. There you are. And that's like that, yeah. So presumably I can't hear anything clicking, but presumably inside here there's like a little switch of some sort, and that's a float. Yeah, okay. Alright, here we are. So I need to turn this over the same way. Right, the other one. We've got the. Alright. And the first thing is that these rubber buffers have got to go in. I don't know if you can. Let's have a look. Can you see that? Yeah. So I've just had to take these out of the. Oh, incidentally, I drained some more petrol out of the black tank. It was nearly half a litre, and I did it with a syringe so I could suck it all out. I was very surprised, nearly half a litre, so that was worth doing. It's interesting, isn't it? You siphon it and then you try and pour it out and you don't get all of it. Anyway, so that's the back of the tank when it fixes to the frame, and it has these rubber buffers, and inside the rubber buffer is like an insert, like a metal insert, which goes in like that. So these go in somehow or other. There is a lip. Yeah, that was taking too long, so I turned the camera off because it was taking too long. But no, basically you just got to use your fingers. A little bit of prodding. Anyway, they're in there now. So then the metal inserts go in. You know, like that. And of course what these do is they stop the, well, they stop the bolts destroying the rubber. Oh. Is that in now? Yeah, that's pretty much. All right. Oh yeah, sort this out, so make sure that's on. And there's a little Jesus clip. Oh no, there wasn't. No, there isn't. There isn't. There isn't. It's just friction. It's just shoved on there. It's not going to come off because there's a vacuum behind it. No, that's right. I know there's a Jesus clip at one end. It's that one. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, have that off. It's just. And then there's a. It's interesting. They've put like masking over it when they painted it, so that comes off. And that's clean metal underneath. I had to wash my hands before I started handling this, so I don't get the new paint all messy. Anyway, no, actually we'll do that first. So if we do the fuel level sender first, and it turns out there's a sort of kind of an O-ring seal, which looks fairly clean. So I don't know. Let's take it off and do it properly. Hang on. So it turns out there was some bit of sealant on it, so I'll shove some Halomar blue on it. So that goes, the wire comes out the back, so that goes that way around. So see if we can persuade this to go in. Okay, seems to be right. Nuts. say not frantically tight. I don't know what the torque is. I think it's just compressing the O-ring, and that's all there is to it. You can feel it squashing up. Anyway, that's on. And same again for the for this then. So there's the pump gasket on, the new one. I put a wee smear of blue Hylamar on just in case, just to make sure, and on the metal tank. I did the same to this as well, just a bit of blue Hylamar. Right, let's see if we can persuade this to go in. I think it goes, yeah. So be very careful not to damage the filter. Right, I think, yeah, so the filter's at the front, isn't it? Like that. And that. Yeah, so I'll make sure I haven't got it back to front. Don't think I have. Right, so these are the little screws. Pull the screws in before you tighten them up. Alright, actually start tightening it up, and it should be compressing the gasket. It should be bolts, really. That's a point. That's a point. I don't like these screws. Let's see if I can find some bolts. Yeah, turns out they are M5. We dab a copper grease, because some of these threaded holes are a bit tight. That's interesting. I was supposed to pop off like that. No. Alright. It's weird, isn't it? They've got like massive washers, which are for M6 or something. Yeah, that one's a bit tight. I've got a packet of M5 by 20mm. Come on. And they're stainless, just by the way. A bit of, just a wee hint of copper slip. Okay. Yeah. Get much more leverage on it now. Is that right? I'll do that. possible to do it too tight because the gasket, the seal, has got little hollow spaces, so it's getting there, it's getting there. Yeah. They weren't tight to start with, it has to be said. Right, that feels like it's pulled up to the, it's compressed inside the rubbery gasket are these little hollow spaces, and now it's compressed until it's just squeezing on the metal bit now. So sort of there. Yeah, that's tight. I mean, that's pulled up. That's pulled up. That's pulled up. And that is now. This one still seems a bit of I'm not sure how much force you're allowed to. That's hard. I think that'll do. Right, that's done up. They're done up. I suppose it's ready to, almost ready to go back on, except of course I need to make the extension for the fuel pump connector. So we'll go and do that. Or I might have some lunch first, actually, I don't know yet. Right, back in a minute. Alright then, there's my extension. I don't know, 6 inches worth. So that goes in, we'll put it in there like that. So, and that's just curious to see actually if there's any make sure it's actually connected. Yes, 1.6 ohms. As much as that.